Awesome, awesome. All right. My name again is Mamadi Kone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. I'm the founder, executive director of We Network now. And we have someone from Apta. I work for Apta, is a cybersecurity um, company out in Silicon Valley. Actually, we are number one leader in identity and access management, number one. So if anyone has any cybersecurity, I'm not here to sell anything, reach out on Apta. We have all the big dogs in there, any big company you can think of. They must be, they are our clients. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it to one of our board members that was here since the beginning, Ewat Eliam. Take it away.
Great. Thank you, Mamadi. We forgot to share this great picture we took of our kickoff day, but here's that. And so a little quick agenda for today. In a bit here, I will share about what We Network is. And then afterwards, we'll introduce our guest speaker for today, Andrea, and then she'll kick off our great webinar we have set for you guys on mindset for curious growth. And then afterwards, she'll take some Q&A afterwards. So to get started, sorry about this little banner here. I seem to not be able to remove it. But so just a little quick thing about We Network, a little bit about us, starting with our mission. This is the core and heart of We Network now and why we exist and what we do it for. And so our mission is really tied to a story many of our members and board share so closely. Many of us were the first in the family to either go to college, to get a house, or the first one to move to a different country. And the one who takes the baton to the next marker. And there wasn't really a clear, blueprint on how to do it or to sort of guide us in the right direction, in the beginning at least. Often, not always, it was by trial and error. And along the way, and maybe it was faith, but you start to connect with certain individuals and someone who ends up, changing the course of your life. And this was true for myself. I'm the oldest, and I had, certain pressures and responsibilities. I still do, but in my early mind, my mentality was, I had to do it on my own. I had to grind it out and sprint the whole way. What I realized a little later in life was that, if you don't have a team, you don't have a supporting cast, often that journey is long and it gets frustrating. And at We Network now, you'll often hear us quote an African proverb which says, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together.
Yeah.
And as I've matured from those years, I've realized, my success was in large part of the people I surrounded myself with. I came across many people who influenced me tremendously and how I think today. And that's what's so cool with running your race. We end up meeting people along the way who influence and impact our trajectory. And we all have that, and that's really the essence of We Network now. What our mission is to bring these fragmented experiences and knowledge and connect with people of African descent to opportunities and resources and relationships we've built along the way, and to declutter and demystify those professional success. The idea of doing it on your own, or I don't need help type of mentality. And so that's our essence of our mission. So next, our vision. And how does our vision look towards our mission, right? I'll highlight some of the things that we've done, but our mission is to have engaging events which tackle barriers, misconceptions, awareness, and also it's a bridge for individuals who want to learn, to teach, and to grow in areas of finance, their careers, self-development, or just if you simply want to connect and much more. And our values, as you can see here, it's to connect, collaborate, and to celebrate. Um, Again, it stems from our mission, and these values are our three C's. And everyone nowadays has these three C's of their own. But we want to collaborate with you. Everyone has ideas, passions, and projects, and we'd like to hear them and offer our organization as the platform to expand and connect with resources to fill them. And so, so these are our three pillars in which we stand by and make our decisions as an organization. Moving on to our programs. And so as you can see here, we have events, mentorship, workshops, webinars. Um, and so in the past year, we had over 7 networking events. We had 5 workshops such as this and 4 webinars around, what it means to be financially independent and self-development. And if you're curious about, these past events that we had, most of them are on our websites if you want like a refresher. And so you can check them out there. But with that, again, we're thrilled to begin the new year with this fantastic webinar this morning. So I'll pass it on to Mamadi to introduce Andrea to us. Mamadi. Oh, and here's our social media presence if you want to check us out here. Mamadi.
Great. Thank you to Ewa. That was a great intro. I mean, I couldn't have done it better. So first, I want to thank everyone for joining again. To Lisa Perez from Prosperity Ready. For those of you that do not know, Prosperity Ready is one of a nonprofit organization that actually provides an opportunity for immigrants in Minnesota. So if you want more information on that, actually, I had an opportunity to work with Lisa. And she's a great person and is doing a lot of work to help our immigrant community. So more information, please reach out to Lisa. Lisa, you can please leave your information in the chat for people. And then of that being, so Andrea, I've been at Okta now for about 7 months, right? So I had an opportunity to attend some of the classes of Andrea. And so I attended the first class. I was really impressed. And I was like, oh, let me sign up for the second one. I signed up for the second one. I was like, wow. This is great. This is, I'm learning a lot. And I attended the third one, which was Mindset for Continuous Growth. And once I got done with that class, the only thing that kept coming to my mind was how do I offer this to the masses, to we network, members, because it was a great class. So as you can see here, Andrea has more than 30 years in IT. Is now designing, delivering learning experiences which help others grow. And without further ado, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. I'm going to turn it to Andrea.
Thank you so much, Mamadi. Gosh, I hope I live up to that wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm Andrea Sutherland, and I'm coming to you here from Portland, Oregon. One of the things that I love, I've been at Okta for about 2 years, and one of the things that I truly love is that we have an organization at Okta called Okta for Good. And that means we can actually take time off work to go out into the community and do good things. And we get tracked and we get all these wonderful opportunities. So it's wonderful working for such a leader in the industry that makes a profit, but wants us to give back, wants us to bring our whole selves to work. And for those of us who love going out into the community, we have those opportunities. So yes, I have their permission. My manager is thrilled that I'm here doing this today, and I'm super excited about your mission and meeting all of you. If you can, this is, I want to create kind of an intimate setting. So if you can turn on your camera, if you're not camera ready, we understand, we know it's all Saturday. And yeah, if you could see the bottom half of me, you would see sweatpants. So please, if you can, turn on your camera so we can see all of your beautiful faces. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Yep. And in this webinar, we're going to be using a lot of the features of Zoom. And one of those is chat. I can see that you already found the chat, so that is wonderful. Another thing we're going to be using is the annotation tools. So get ready. I'm going to want you guys to be active participants. I don't want you just listening to me. So this is a 90-minute course that we teach at Okta called Mindset for Continuous Growth. And when you think about mindset, what do you typically think about? You can type in chat or come over the audio, but what typically comes to mind when somebody talks about mindset? Anybody?
Just the way you think, the way you process information, how you make decisions.
The way you process information, your point of view. Thank you, Lisa. Most of the time we think about like either a positive or a negative mindset, right?
Mm.
Well, we're going to talk about a different way to look at mindset. So we'll do a short introduction, and then I'm going to talk about the power of mindset. I want to give you some tools today, actually 3 tools to put you in a mindset where you're continuously growing. So we'll talk about those. And one of those is your personal brand, and we'll talk about that too. So let's jump right into it. You can stop me at any time or post questions or comments in chat. That would be fine. So first of all is a quiz. Isn't that wonderful on a Saturday morning? And so I want you to use your Zoom stamps. Who's used their Zoom stamps before? Mama Day has, I know, because he's been in my classes. And what I want you to do is I want you to either agree or disagree with 4 statements I'm going to put on the screen. So a check for yes and an X for no. Your intelligence is something very basic and cannot be changed. Do you agree or disagree with that statement? Check for yes, you agree? X for no.
Excuse me.
Do you agree or disagree with that statement? Your intelligence is something very basic and cannot be changed. Okay, we're seeing some disagreement. We're finding those. Great. Okay, next statement. It's coming here. You can always change things about your personality. You know, some people say, oh, that's just me. That's my personality. I can't change. Agree or disagree? You can always change things about your personality. Okay, looks like a lot of us agree. The third one, you're a certain type of person and you can't change that. Agree or disagree? Okay, I'm seeing lots of disagree and seeing some agree. And last but not least, no matter how much intelligence you have, you can always get smarter. You know, some people think, well, I was born with a certain amount of smarts, and that's what I have. Okay, great. Thank you for participating in that. Seeing some agrees. I'm going to go ahead and clear all the drawings. Well, when you think about a growth mindset, if you're in a growth mindset, you probably agreed with the second and the fourth. Those are how a growth mindset person thinks, or a person that's in the growth mindset. In a growth mindset, you believe you can always get smarter, you can always change, you're continuously growing. So where did this whole notion of mindset come? Well, if you've ever heard of the book Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, it was written by a researcher named Carol Dweck. And Carol was she was so interested in how people learn and how people deal with failure in their learning. And through her research, she coined these 2 different types of mindset. She noticed there are fixed mindset people and growth mindset people. And sometimes it's one and the same. Sometimes it's on a continuum. Nobody's 100% growth or 100% fixed. But sometimes we find ourselves in a fixed mindset thinking, you know what, it's just the way I am, I can't change. Whereas when you're in a growth mindset, you think that, you know, it's more about hard work, I can change. Well, where did she coin, you know, how did she come up with these 2 different mindsets? Well, she decided to do some research. So she gathered a bunch of kids together and she got together some puzzles. And they range from very simple to very difficult, almost impossible for the kids to solve. And as she started to give them to the kids from easy to difficult, she noticed 2 different types of kids. One where they got very, you know, oh, I'm giving up. I'm not smart enough. This is too hard. And then she noticed some kids were really different. As the puzzles got harder, they became excited. They were even asking, you know, I want these puzzles. Where can my parents get these? They became intrigued, and it didn't bother them that they couldn't solve them. They were very interested and more excited as the puzzles got different. So she coined these two phrases: a fixed mindset, give up, can't do this, to a growth mindset. I'm learning, I'm growing, even though I can't solve it. This is fun, this is exciting. And so she used these fixed and growth mindsets. She transferred this onto people and how we can act at times. And what she noticed was that there's certain traits about a fixed and a growth mindset, where if you're in a fixed mindset, you might think, you know what, I'm just going to stick to what I know. You know, I'm good at this. Whereas a growth mindset would say, I want to learn new things. I'm eager to take risks. When it came to change, the growth mindset people liked change and embraced it. And the fixed mindset folks were, kind of wanted to give up. The growth mindset people liked feedback. They want to know what to fix. Whereas the growth mindset, the fixed mindset people kind of felt intimidated and bad when they got feedback. And so they've taken this notion, fixed and growth mindset, and you'll see this in classrooms. Does anyone have school-age children? They might be learning about this. Anyone here have school-age children? This might look very familiar to you if you do. What they do in the classroom now, and I know this is all over the world, just not in the US, is they teach the kids something called the power of yet. And that's one of the tools I want to leave you with today. When you find yourself thinking in a fixed way, like, I don't get it, I can't do this, it didn't work, I'm not good at this, to actually add the word yet at the end of your sentence. And what they found is in children, it actually changes the neural pathways in their brain. So instead of saying, I can't do this, I can't do this yet. And what they found is it puts kids in more of a growth mindset for learning. And so as parents, as parents and adults, we can learn from that. And I know that on my team at work, we add that word yet. When someone says, I don't know how to do that, someone will yell out yet, so that we can put ourselves in more of a growth mindset. Because when you're in a growth mindset, you are more successful, you are happier, and you are more engaged in what you're doing. That's what they found when you were in a growth mindset. So it's something that we always want to be in. I don't know if anybody can be in a growth mindset 100% of the times, but we can catch ourselves in these fixed mindset moments when we're saying, I don't get it, I'm not good at that. I used to do this with attention to detail. All of my life, I've thought I'm just not good at the details, I would tell myself. And after I read Carol Dweck's book, I started to add this power of yet to the end of my sentences. I'm not good at the details yet. And I've actually found that I've changed my mindset about doing the details, managing the details, and paying attention. Yes, on the ski slope. On the ski slope, you could do that yet. Lisa's read the book, wonderful. And there's actually a video on YouTube of Carol Dweck talking about the power of yet. And so the thinking is if we get kids doing this as they grow up and they're going through school, they'll be more growth mindset adults, but we can learn from them. We can use that power of yet. So I want to challenge you today, when you, throughout your day, if you're running into things where you're thinking a fixed mindset, I don't like this, I'm not good at this, to add that word yet to the end of your sentence. And you will find that you will change your mindset about whatever is, you were thinking those fixed thoughts about. Does this sound, has anyone heard of the power of yet? Is this familiar to anyone?
I heard it from your class, Andrea.
And I bet you've been doing it too, because you're my star student.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will, at the end of this, I'll send some resources to Mama Day, so he can send those to you all. And one will be a link to the researcher Carol Dweck talking about the power of yet. It's really fascinating. It's a short video, but it's fun to hear it from the researcher's mouth herself. So that was the first tool, yet. So you're probably asking yourself, well, where does this mindset come from? Well, what the research says is we get our mindset typically from whoever is raising us, because we're given certain labels as children. And I bet you were too. Anybody want to post in chat what label they were given? I was like the smart, studious one, the shy one. Anybody else given a label as they were growing up? Sometimes, you're okay, Lisa was the stubborn one. You could be, and sometimes the labels are positive, you're the athletic one. And, our parents do this to us. And the people around us, they're the smart one. That's the good looking one. That's the social one. Yeah, Mabri was given, Gallo, thoughtful, the too serious. And so what happens is a lot of times is we take these labels because we're hearing them all the time as children, and we carry those into adulthood. And sometimes they can put us in a fixed mindset. We also observe, our parents' habits, the things they instill on us. I was raised by very fixed mindset people. My parents were very fixed mindset, and the book was good for me and teaching this class because it gets me more into a growth mindset where I feel happier and more engaged in what I'm doing. So we typically get this mindset, it's instilled on us in childhood. And so we need to use these tools to get ourselves more in a growth mindset. So what I want you to do is I want you to use those annotation tools again. I want you to find that green check, and I want you to be able to identify behaviors that are coming from a growth mindset. That's one of the things that one of the outcomes of this workshop, because mindset drives behavior. So if you're going to growth mindset, there's certain things you're going to do. And so I want you to find the green check again and go ahead and check the things that you think are coming from a growth mindset. And these are in no particular order. Yep, and you can use any mark. It's fine with me. Okay, offer solutions to problem. Yeah, I want you to remember that when you were in a fixed or a growth mindset, it's going to drive your behavior. And these are some behaviors. And I want you to be able to identify what's coming from a growth mindset. And the one that people typically struggle with is that second one, seeks reinforcement of their ideas. And let me tell you, that's actually, you guys are right. Nobody's checking that. That's a fixed mindset. And what that means is, let's say you create a presentation at work and you're going to send it out to your colleagues for some feedback. You say, hey, I'm going to be presenting this. Can you give me some feedback? If you're coming from a fixed mindset, you want them to reinforce that your presentation's great. Oh, no changes, that's great. But if you're in a growth mindset, you actually want people to find things that can improve upon it. So if you find yourself getting a little bit defensive sometimes when people are reviewing your work, change that. Admit to yourself you're in a fixed mindset, and because a growth mindset wants changes and improvement to their work. Fantastic. You guys did really well. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase those, and I'm going to show you the answers. So you can see that the growth mindset, they're looking for ideas and learning growth. They're seeking new ideas. They embrace change. They admit mistakes, where the fixed mindset might feel, ooh, I made a mistake. I need to cover that up or blame it on someone else. So if you find yourself over there doing any of those fixed mindset behaviors, the key first is to admit it to yourself. Oops, I think I might be in a fixed mindset about this. And then I'm going to talk to you about flexing that mindset, flexing from fixed to growth. Those were the answers. How did you do? Were you able to identify those growth mindset behaviors? I think you were. You guys did pretty good. Does anybody have any questions or comments about any of those?
So Andrea, my
Anybody?
question, I have a question. So
Yeah.
when you find yourself, maybe I may have asked you this, and you are struggling from moving from the fixed mindset to growth mindset, is there any techniques that one can use in order to overcome that?
Absolutely. And we're going to go into that next. It's called flexing your mindset. And the first key is you've got to identify that you're coming from a fixed point of view. And so what you're going to do is you're going to challenge yourself. And the best way to challenge yourself is to ask yourself a question. And when you are really comfortable and have a good relationship with maybe your team or your family, you can start to challenge yourselves by asking questions to each other. So one of the things I learned, I had a coach, and when I would say something that was a fixed mindset, like I'm not good at the details or I don't like program management, she would ask me, what limiting belief is getting in my way? And that question would make me stop and think, gosh, what belief is getting in my way? That, I'm a big picture thinker and they don't, and big picture people don't like the details. Well, that's not true. And so you can ask yourselves, these are all great questions to flex that mindset. How can I look at this as an opportunity for growth? Perhaps I get assigned something to do at work. My boss asks me, oh, Andrea, can you create a spreadsheet and run some pivot tables and some VLOOKUPs? And already I'm feeling myself in a fixed mindset, like, ugh. And so if I ask myself, wait a minute, Andrea, you're in a fixed mindset. How can I look at this as an opportunity for growth? So that's a really good question to ask yourself. Another question that you can ask yourself to kind of flex yourself out of a fixed mindset. Let's say I get an email from someone and maybe it's all caps or something like that. And my first capital letters and my first reaction is, gosh, they're being kind of negative, or that's kind of aggressive. Already I'm judging. And so wait a minute, Andrea, you're being in a fixed mindset. A question I could ask myself is, if my friend sent me this email, how would I think about it differently? Well, maybe I would think that their cap locks got locked, right? Or they were just in a hurry. I would give them the benefit of the doubt. Yes, Jeremy, don't assume. And the best example of this, does anyone heard of Stephen Covey? Great Habits of Highly Effective People?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great book. And I had the privilege of taking a week training through the Covey Institute. And Stephen Covey, he's now passed on, but he had the greatest story about this. And this was probably 15 years ago that I took this, but this story has stuck with me and it has helped me through my life so much. And I'll tell you the story that he told us. He was on the subway one evening coming home from work, and he was trying to read the paper. And sitting across from him was a man, and he had 3 children with him. And he assumed that the guy was the father. And the kids were kind of running amok. They were running all over, kind of running into his legs, that type of thing. And Stephen Covey found himself getting really irritated with this man. Why don't you control these kids? And these kids are terribly behaved. And, he was thinking these thoughts to himself. And finally, one of the kids just kind of ripped the paper out of his hand. And he was so irritated. He said to the man, would you please control your children? Their behavior is horrible. And the man looked at Stephen Covey and said, I'm not really sure how they should be behaving right now. We're coming from the hospital and their mom just died. And Stephen Covey thought to himself, wow. His whole mindset about this man and these children changed. Isn't that a powerful story? And so, every time somebody cuts me off in traffic, I think to myself, oh, they have a sick child in the back and they're going to the hospital, or something like that. Giving people the benefit of the doubt puts you in a growth mindset. You're not judging, you're not being angry. Has anyone else ever made the mistake of assuming bad intention?
Always.
Somebody said all the time.
Well, so Andrew, I have a question. Do you think, and I don't know this for sure, is that part of our nature as human? Because we see things through the windows of our experiences where we live, and therefore when we see things, we go back to those experiences and make a decision about what we are seeing, right away. So
You're absolutely right. It's your filter.
yeah.
And so whatever you're seeing is being filtered through what you were told as a child, what you observed as a child, any experiences you had. And a lot of those can put you in a fixed mindset and assume the worst. I have a sister just 18 months older than me, and she is almost always in a fixed mindset. If there's a mistake or something that happens, she assumes the person is, dumb, or she feels like the world is out to get her, right? She is on no social media because she thinks that people are going to be spying on her, that type of thing. She always assumes the worst. And what's interesting, and she makes fun of me because I try to always assume the best. And yes, sometimes I'm taken advantage of, but I would rather be in a growth mindset than a fixed mindset, because it seems like worse things happen to her. She does get her identity stolen. Those things do happen. And sometimes I kind of feel like maybe her fixed mindset's bringing it on. Yes, Jeremy, you're absolutely right. A lack of cultural awareness can exacerbate this, right? And as we live in such a multicultural environment, which there's so many good things about it, sometimes people are just doing things that are common to their culture. I used to work with a Chinese woman. This was really long ago, and I really early in my career, and I don't think I'd ever worked with some Chinese people before. And at first, I found her to be, and I don't want to stereotype, but she was very blunt. If you wore something that didn't look good, or you look like you'd gained weight, she'd tell you. And at first I thought, geez, what's with her? And then as I learned it was part of her culture, I could give her the benefit of the doubt. And I actually found it quite charming when I changed my mindset about it. Anyone else have a story about assuming the worst in someone?
I would go. I think Chinese people and African people are almost the same, because even in my culture, the greeting is, "Oh, you look fat," or "You look skinny," and to us it's a norm. But if I say that to somebody of different culture, that's definitely an insult.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and so if finding what I would think to myself as well, if my friend said this, how would I feel? It's like, wow, she's just being real with me and giving me advice. So if you find yourself, in your work or in your charitable work, feeling, assuming someone had bad intent, to change that. If my friend said that to me, how would I feel differently? So I love that Stephen Covey story, because it made such an impact. 15 years later, I'm still telling that story, and it has helped me so many times from getting into a fixed mindset about events that are happening around me. If I find myself getting into a fixed mindset about myself, right? I'm in a situation and I'm being really hard on myself, asking myself, how would I counsel a friend with the same belief? Or what can I learn from this? If there is a situation that, perhaps is negative or uncomfortable, what can I learn from this? Or if I'm finding myself being kind of victim, right? Oh, I'm not getting enough feedback. I'm not getting enough instruction. Well, what's preventing me from getting it myself? Will put me in a growth mindset. So the first step is to recognize that you're in a fixed mindset, adding the power of yet to a fixed mindset statement, or challenging yourself or others, asking yourself one of these questions to get you into more of a growth mindset, because you will be happier and more engaged. So let's practice it. Here's something, this is called flexing. So perhaps I'm saying, the reason I use this one is because we hear this where Mama Day and I work. We will hear this at work. People will say, my manager never gives me feedback. So you'll hear, especially younger, you know, the really younger generation, I don't get enough feedback. And so we're, one of the ways to flex it is to use one of those questions that we just did on the previous slide is, well, what prevents me from asking for the feedback I need? And so what you find yourself is it moves you over to growth. Well, I've got the power to ask to ask for what I need. If I want more feedback, I'll ask for it. You see, going from kind of victim, I'm not getting what I want, to I can go out and get what I want. It's a completely different mindset, and it actually changes your neural pathways. Just as the power of yet does, so does challenging yourself and flexing your mindset. So you're going to try it. Let's say that you're thinking to yourself, oh, I missed the deadline because, you know, so-and-so didn't give me what I needed. I missed that deadline for the report because somebody didn't give me the data I needed. What question could you ask yourself to move from a fixed to a growth mindset?
What else I could have done to actually meet the deadline and not rely to somebody else?
Exactly. And you know, what a difference, right? To go from, well, I missed it because of so-and-so, instead of, well, what else could I do next time to ensure that I get what I need? So you're going from victim or fixed to empowered or growth. Beautiful. What about, can you believe she sent me that email? Look at this email she sent me. What could I ask myself to flex that thought, that fixed thought?
What did I do to make her send that email?
Yeah, did I have any part of this? Yes, exactly. What else?
How would I interpret this differently?
How would I interpret this differently if my friend sent me this email? Yeah. Or I wonder if she's having a bad day. I wonder if there's something else going on. And so not taking it personally and putting yourself into a growth mindset. So it's going from being maybe defensive, because that's going to set off a chain of events, to more empowered and giving people the benefit of the doubt. Good, just a couple more. Maybe again, I'm assigned something like, you know, this project is beneath me. Maybe a junior person should be doing this. Why do I have to schedule this? I'm an instructor. What could I say to myself instead? What question could I ask myself?
So just never underestimate a project.
Oh, yeah. I might be underestimating this project. Yes. What else can I say to myself or ask myself?
What can I learn from this project?
Yeah, what could I learn from this? I always like to think, how could I do this faster, better, or cheaper? I come from a manufacturing background. So maybe, you know, I used to do this when I was a junior person, or I'm feeling like this is a waste of my time. Well, how could I reinvent what this is doing to make it go faster? Exactly. You guys got this. One more. Whoops, maybe not. Nope, that's it. So we've got two tools. I've introduced two tools. The first one was the power of yet. Catching yourself, saying, I can't do this. This is too hard. I don't like this. I hate this. To, I can't do this yet. I don't really enjoy this yet. The second tool was flexing your mindset. For, again, acknowledging you're in a fixed mindset. Maybe you're being defensive or assuming the worst, and asking yourself, challenging yourself with a question. And that's called flexing. Automatically puts you in a growth mindset and changes the neurons in your brain. Any questions on this before we talk about personal brand? Okay, we'll keep going. So I want to change and kind of pivot into your brand. So everybody has a brand. And is your brand a fixed mindset person, a negative person, a defensive person, right? We all have a brand, and we probably don't want that brand. And what a personal brand is it's what others say about us when we're not in the room. And that quote comes from Jeff Bezos. Like him or hate him, we've got Amazon because of him. But he kind of coined this quote, you know, we all have a personal brand. And don't you want your personal brand to be someone of a growth mindset, someone who takes responsibility, somebody who's positive? And so we
Andrea,
want, oh,
do you mind if I interject? So for the audience, that we had a company kickoff, events last week. And I hear one of the leaders said something that really resonated with me. I even wrote it down. It's somewhere in my bedroom, that a brand is a promise. And I thought that was really, really powerful. When you said that you were going to do something and people can rely on you, that is a promise. It's not just, talking. So just thought I would mention that.
Thank you very much. I was actually at that in Las Vegas. I just got home yesterday. And
Okay.
one of the things I love about our company is that we have growth mindset leaders. We are in a company that is huge growth. In fact, during the pandemic, I work remotely, and Mamadi, I believe you do too, right? We work from home.
Yes.
Yeah, but when the lockdown happened and that type of thing, where we're all working from home, we doubled the amount of people in our company. We went from 2,000 to 4,000 in less than 2 years. So we're in this company that's growing huge, and we've got these leaders that they just exude growth mindset. That is their brand. And so one of the things that we want to do is we kind of want to get ahead of this, right? We want a growth mindset to be reflected in our personal brand. And so I'm going to show you 2 brand statements, and I'm going to actually have you develop your brand statement today. So here's an example of a brand statement so the first one comes from a software developer. Okay. And think if you met someone at a party and they said, I'm a software developer. Like, okay. Instead, they said, well, I love writing code and I want to solve important customer problems. So I create products to help small business owners recover lost information quickly and easily. Isn't that more powerful than saying I'm a software developer? The next one is a technical product manager. And so, you meet somebody and they say, I'm a technical product manager. Oh, okay. Instead, they say, I use my technical expertise and passion for business development to find new channel partners and help existing partners grow their business. And so I'm going to have these actually follow a formula. There's a formula to write a personal brand statement, and I'm showing you those right now. You don't use all 3 of them. You pick the one you like the best. And in the greenish in parentheses, you're going to insert your own ideas there. So let's say you like the second one. Known for my enthusiasm, attention to detail, love of people, whatever it is, I facilitate workshops, advise small businesses, whatever you do, for who you're doing it for, so they can benefit. How can they benefit? And so what I want you to do is I want you to turn off your camera. It shows me that you're working on this. Choose one of these formulas, get in a growth mindset, and fill in those blanks so that you create a brand statement. And then I'm going to show you what you're going to do with that brand statement. So I'm going to give you I'll give you 10 minutes. Turn on your camera when you're done. I'm going to set my timer, and then we'll share our brand statements and give each other some feedback. So I'm going to turn off my camera as well. And please use these. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to stop my sharing. Turn your cameras back on if you can. What I love about these brand statements is that it already puts you in a growth mindset, just thinking about it. It's your value, it's your promise to other people. And when I've got days where I'm kind of down or feeling negative, I remember my promise to my colleagues, right? What I'm here to do, because I have such a passion for learning and having people enjoy their jobs. That's what I envision as a world where people like get up and run to work, and because they're growing. And so if I'm feeling negative about something or someone, I remember my promise. Is there anybody that wants to read theirs to us and we can comment and give you some feedback? Mamadi, can I ask you to do that?
Sure, I can go and I can share mine here. So yes, so known for my emotional intelligence and communication skills, I built bridges between people and opportunities.
Oh, I like that. I like it's very short and succinct. Wonderful.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is me, dude. I use my passion for work and my technical skills to properly implement IAM solutions for my clients.
Oh, wonderful. Are you in a wrestling match, maybe? Okay, that's fine. Thank you for sharing. Who else wants to go?
This is Lisa. I can go. Known for my expertise in workforce development, I create and provide job seeker programs for degreed immigrants so they can acquire the careers they are qualified for and deserve.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really great. Anybody else want to try it?
My name is Sam. I'll try.
Okay.
I use my love of engineering and technical expertise to deliver a wide global service to my customers' network infrastructure.
Oh, beautiful. Excellent. Who else wants to go?
I can go. This is Jean-Marc. Sorry, I don't have a camera on my desktop.
Oh, that's okay.
Using my analytics expertise and problem-solving skills, I help businesses globally secure their growing data and assist them in making data-driven business decisions.
Wow. That's so clear to me what you do instead of like I'm a data analyst, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you are, a data analyst?
Yes, I am.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Anybody else?
This is Gallo. I want to share mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so known for my skills in cybersecurity and risk assessment, I help my organization better its security posture to manage risk and make cyber attacks less effective.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's really clear, right? You're going to protect us from cyber attacks.
Yes, thanks.
Wow, very nice. Anybody else want to share? So you might be asking yourself, well, what am I going to do with this brand statement? What am I supposed to do with this? At our company, we have an internal org wiki, and that's where we put ours. And what's very handy about that is when we're so big and Mamadi and I mean, we talk with people all over the world. And when you're talking with someone new, people typically will look you up in the org wiki. And it's like, well, who is this person? And so when we have our brand statement there, it's our promise. It's our promise that when we engage with you, I mean, now when I don't know Mamadi, but I've got a meeting with him, I know that he's going to show up and help me build bridges. That he's a good communicator. He's a great communicator. And that's his promise to me. The equivalent, I would say, would be LinkedIn. So it would be great if you could put this statement on your LinkedIn, on your about, so that people truly, you'll probably start getting all sorts of calls from recruiters, not that you want that, but what you want to do is what is your promise? Instead of, I mean, being a data analyst is great, don't get me wrong, but what we heard about what a data analyst does for me as the person, that makes it so much more real, right? It's their promise to me. They're going to help me with data so that I can make a better decision. I'm going to engage with this person. They're going to help me build some bridges. I'm going to engage with this person and they're going to help me from cyber attacks. I'm going to engage with Lisa and she's going to help my friend who is an underserved community, with their education options. I mean, that is your promise to people. So I would really recommend that you put it on your LinkedIn and use this personal brand statement. Sometimes people put them at the bottom of their emails, in their signature that comes up. And when you are in a growth mindset and you write this, and this is your promise to people, then, living up to it, if it's in my email signature, I better live up to it. It helps put you in a growth mindset, and it's your promise. And you want your brand to be growth mindset. Lisa, I see you have a raised hand. Is there a question?
Yes, if I could just add to that as well, and this is kind of part of branding, consistent personal branding. When we work with our program participants, we always recommend that those branding statements be in your professional profile on your resume, and that you also, when you're networking, which is what this organization is all about, that you use that branding statement to introduce yourself. It's powerful. A recruiter spends an average of 7 seconds looking at a resume. So anyone who has a powerful branding statement, like all the ones we just heard, you're going to get someone's attention and likely keep it, and keep them reading that resume or keep them asking you questions if you're in a networking situation.
Beautiful. Thank you for that ad. That was so insightful. Thank you. Because like Jeff Bezos said, like it or not, we all have a brand. And so, a brand is going to happen, whether or not you want it to. It's going to happen. Some people have the brand of, oh gosh, when I talk to this person, I'm going to hear everything that's bad about everything, right? You want to get ahead of that brand. What is your promise to people? What are you using? What are your skills and passions and interests to do something for somebody so they can benefit? So powerful. So I invite you to put that on your LinkedIn and just, on your resume. Use it to introduce yourself, as Lisa was saying, is so much more powerful. How many of us introduce ourselves as, oh, I'm a software developer, I'm a manager, and use your brand statement in those introductions to engage people and get the conversation started. Any other questions or comments about that? Well, I want to go over the 3 takeaways. Oh, Mabadi, go ahead.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you a question. Then maybe you can, when you have your brand statement, you can always build on it, right? As you grow professionally, personally. So it shouldn't be just something that's set in stone. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. That's funny because I've changed mine a couple times. In fact, I changed mine this morning. Mine is like, I want to be known as the Swiss Army knife of learning and development, because I consult, I teach, I design, and I manage programs. So I want people to know that I can do it all. Maybe I do some things better than others, but I want to be known as somebody that can do it all as far as learning and development. And so what do you want to be known as? And I've changed mine and I've tweaked mine, as time goes on. It doesn't have to be set in stone. But, how do you want people to know how you're going to show up?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? So there's 3 takeaways from this workshop. I hope you've enjoyed yourself and feel that this is a time well spent. Gave you 3 tools. The first one was the power of yet. The power of yet, adding yet, and try it. Please try it. And if you have children or friends around you that might kind of, be negative, sometimes, help them out. If they say something, I've not tried that, just say to them, yet. You haven't tried it yet. So instill that in yourself and other people. So that was the first tool. The second tool was flexing your mindset. When you are finding yourself in a fixed mindset, I'm not good at that. I can't do that. Or, oh my gosh, this person is, when you find yourself judging others, what part am I playing in that? What limiting belief can I challenge in myself? How would I feel about that if a friend did that? So flexing from fixed to growth. And then the last one is having a brand statement and using that to reflect your growth mindset and talk about what passions and skills you have that are, and what you do and how it benefits others. And how it benefits others is really that key. What are people going to get? Everybody is dialed into that radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? And so how can you right off the bat, let people know that what they will get, what's in it for them when they engage with you? So those were the 3 tools. Are there any questions or comments or anything that I can help you with before I turn it back over to Mama D?
Yeah, I had one, Andrea. Earlier you were talking about the flex mindset on how like your childhood or your upbringing with your parents, I think you had similar experience, but like how did you manage to combat some of those, ingrained behaviors or habits that you learn and then move to like a growth mindset?
That's a great question. And it was interesting because as you were talking about the mission and the, going fast and then, or going as a team, I found myself with the people around me, the people that I surrounded helped me. And depending on mentors, it was, I was lucky enough to be one of those kids that teachers always gravitated toward and want to mentor. Mm-hmm. And then I found that as I went into the world of work, that I had a lot of great mentors. And if I found myself in a job where I didn't see myself, or I didn't see my manager as a great mentor and somebody that I wanted to surround myself, I would leave. I would leave them. They do say that people don't leave companies, they leave managers.
Yeah.
And so I always wanted to surround myself with people who are more positive than me and smarter than me and will actually, challenge me. And so I think it was that helped me.
Okay. Makes sense.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, and I will send all of the resources to Monty.
This is Gallo, and I just wanted to thank you for the privilege of your time, because I actually learned something that I didn't know that I can really apply in my real life and experience, because I live in a neighborhood that actually this has opened my mind in terms of how should I react to some kind of microaggressions that people are doing because of this, but I learned a lot from this, so thank you very much.
You are so welcome. You just made my day. That's what I live to do, and it's actually been my privilege to work with you all. I have really enjoyed this. It's been wonderful. I really love what you guys are doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, I want to add on top of that, you made me think of joining Okta. I'm just kidding.
Oh, we have lots of openings. Please apply.
By the way, I wanted to add about Okta. We had a Wellness Friday yesterday, so no work for IT cybersecurity. So just wanted to throw that Wellness Friday. So just saying. So I didn't work yesterday.
Just throwing that out there.
Just throwing that out there.
And I don't want this. I don't want to be like I'm doing a commercial for Okta, but I was actually consulting, and Okta was one of my clients. And the people that I worked with impressed me so much, and the company impressed me so much. I actually stopped consulting and went to work for a company, which I told myself, I don't know if there's a company out there, I'll keep looking, that I want to be a part of, and Okta was. So enough of a commercial for Okta. Okay, well, I will send some resources, and please, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I would love to be connected with you guys. And it has been my privilege to work with you guys today.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrea. I cannot thank you enough. And I told you guys that this was going to be great. And I hope that you took something away, because when I took this class, it actually changed my mindset, how I see things. And I try every single day in order to flex that muscles, right? Once like Andrea said, once I get an email, the way I interpret it, or once I talk to a colleague and they say something that I don't understand, I step back, I put myself in their shoes. And that's really, really hard to do these days because we are on the go, 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 go all the time. But I'm pretty sure that, if you do it, it's helpful for you, it's going to be helpful for your, your colleagues, your family around you. And so I encourage all of you guys to, to start adopting the growth mindset, because at the end of the day, it's not only for you, but for your children, your family, because I'm pretty sure your friends see this, they're going to start seeing you from different lights. And you never know how you impact people sometimes, right? So I hope that you took something away from this. And also, I want to thank Okta, because, of course, Andrea wouldn't be here without the permission of Okta for being here today. So thank you. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to be sending out a survey to all of you guys, like we always do, to get your feedback and how we can make this webinar better, how we can make it helpful for you, because We Network Work Now was created by you, for you, and we're going to do everything within our power, because this is our brand promise, to bring people together and connect them to opportunities. And we're going to live up our promise. We try every single time. So thank you for your time. If anyone has any question, any comments, feel free to chime in. All right. Thank you, Andrea, once again. And thank you, everyone, for joining on this Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this webinar. Hopefully it was insightful and impactful for you. If you'd like to see more past events or what we got going on, or just simply want to know more about us, visit us here at our website at wenetworknow.org. And also, you can visit us here at our various social media platforms and see what we got going on or what's coming up.